to Sunday morning on the plot, and it's going to be a big plot day today, I hope. That's the idea. The weather is nice, it's warm, but I only have 15% left on my battery, so that wasn't good planning. So I'm just going to get on. I'm going to do as much as I can. I brought the strimmer, I brought seeds, I brought all sorts of things. Kales to put out. Lots of you said about putting kales between the potatoes, so I think that's what I'm going to try and do today as well. I've already warned my mum that I'm going to be nipping over the fence to have lunch with her and then get back on it and charge perhaps the strimmer battery while I'm there. So yeah, I'll meet you on the other side of this when I've had a chance to charge my phone and show you what I've done. So wish me luck. Okay, we're at the halfway point. Oh dear, I've got mascara all over my face. You can see from potentially how dirty I am. But yeah, it's been a good morning. Lots of saskatoons in. Did some of the strimming before the battery ran out, and then hopped it over the fence to Mum to charge for this afternoon. But I think I'm ready to call it quits for now and go have some lunch. I spoke too soon. My cousin just rang as I was filming that to say that they're coming down to have a look at the plot with the kids. So entertain those for a few minutes and then off to Mum's for lunch. And you can have a look at what I've done while we wait for them. Some amateur strimming. Some amateur strimming on that side, and some saskatoon planting. But yeah, I'll talk about this in more detail a bit later. Okay, I'm fed and watered and slightly cleaner, ready to get mucky again really. So it's 2:30 now. I'm thinking another good 2 hours. Crow on the plot and a butterfly. What are you after, Mr. Crow? Bedding. Right, off you go. I've got work to do, including planting some of these kales. I wanted my first job back to be continuing with the strimming, which I'm sort of getting the knack of now, but it's not charged. It takes too long. Ta-da! So Mum's going to shout if it charges before I'm ready to leave. But yeah, right. What shall I do as my next job then? Maybe putting some of these comfreys and strawberries into the fruit tree bed. So I promised that I'd talk about this bed ages ago, because quite a few people on YouTube recently, Nile Gardens, Rose and I want to say onions, but that's not right. I've been talking about fruit tree guilds, which is a permaculture principle where instead of sort of keeping bare soil around or mulch around your fruit trees and trying to keep them as free as possible from competing with anything else, instead you plant them up and you put in things that are good for pollinators, to attract pollinators to your trees, things with good long tap roots so that you're bringing up nutrients to your trees, and all sorts of things like herbs and other edibles. So that was why I put the currants in between the fruit trees, and now I want to put some comfrey in this bed. I've got some strawberries to put in, and I've got some thyme which I forgot to bring down, but gradually I just want to build up this space into these sort of this bed is in its own right then a kind of mini food forest. So that's the plan. So I think I'll start with that. There's my comfrey's been soaking in the water. I've got 3 strawberry plants there. And I also got that raspberry that I bought. Now where's that gonna go? I'm not sure. I've put saskatoons in so many places now. There's no room left for any other kind of berry. Well, I'll think about that. Anyway, yes, let's get on with planting up the fruit tree guilds then. So this is the pot of a comfrey that I did as crown cuttings when I took them from the patch that I know about. And I can't remember if this is the one I did first or second, but you can see it's a beast. It did really well. So there should be several plants in here, along with a little snail. Not gonna focus. Go snail. Right, so let's have a look at the roots on this. Oh wow, it's almost root bound. I've got to I've got to divide this up now. Okay, hoary time. Or maybe not. Oh, there's a baby. One, two, three, four. Five. Oh, that's two. Might keep those further. 6, 7. Oh, hello, big worm in there. Oh, 8. Oh. Okay, I was being a little bit brutal, but I think comfrey can take it. So I'm going to position these now around the edges of the bed. So what did I come up with? 10 or 11? And then I am going to be keeping them in check so they don't go enormous and take over and then outcompete with the fruit trees. So they're meant to be here to help the fruit tree, not swamp it. So, but because comfrey leaf is so great for so many things, I don't see any problem with just coming along and hacking some off every so often and then adding it to the compost bins. Okay, let's get these into the ground then. Well, they need to perk up a little bit. I've just watered them, but I think they'll be fine. So some comfrey around the edges now, got the fruit trees in the middle and the currant bushes. We've got some strawberries to get us started over here, and all that coriander is coming up as well. So yeah, let's hope so. Right, let's see how we're getting on with my list. Strim paths, partly done. Haven't mulched potatoes, haven't done that, haven't done that. Weed garlic bread, no. Saskatoons, yes. Strim the back, no. Make compost heaps, no. Dismantle old beds. Huh? Well, compost heaps, I think that's supposed to be about. Level ground. Oh, this is all to do with compost, and then build the greenhouse. Strawberries are planted. Build a seed bed and plant up. We've done that part. It's right over here. There we go. Yeah, how's that for a new addition? So I was watching Hugh Richards, and he was talking about putting leeks and brassicas things in a seed bed before planting out into the final places. I was going to make it with some of these boards up here, but I didn't bring the drill. But I did have a whole load of these slate tiles that were kindly given to me by Mark, and I've been using in the home garden to make the labels for plants, but I also edged the long border where my conifers were in the garden. I'll show you that shortly. So I thought I'd just make it with those. So I've just put them into the compost soil, and then filled it with some actual compost. So it raises it up off the clay, and yeah, I can put sort of a net over the top. Pretty excited about that. I think that was a pretty good idea from Hugh Richards, not me. I mean, it's kind of on a slope, which probably isn't good, but yeah, no, I'm happy with it. So while we're at this part of the plot, these are the other new additions. An entire row of saskatoons. So I thought I would make kind of a living hedge out of them. So I've used the ones that were really just whips and pop them in. I'm really hoping that they take and will fruit. So they go along that side of that bed, and then also along the side of this bed. They like wet conditions. Well, how's that for wet conditions? Hopefully they'll be very happy along here. I've also put some in at the really wet patches over here, over here, over here, over here. I'm basically surrounded by saskatoons now, but I think I'm okay with that if they take and are happy and fruit. But yeah. Right, back to this list then. Let's make some progress. Well, it's now gone 5 o'clock and the sun's gone in, although it's still very warm, although that might just be from all the activity I'm doing. I have barely any battery left, so I think what I'll do is go walk the dog and then come back either this evening or in the morning to show you all that I've done, because I'm pretty happy with that, pretty happy with what I've achieved today. And this is the first full day that I've done on the allotment, actually. Yeah, it didn't tick everything off the list, but it was a very ambitious list. I'm very tired. Yeah, home, walk dog, day done. morning. It's the morning after. Every part of me aches. I have insect bites on my ankles. I caught the sun. I'm still really chuffed with what I achieved yesterday. It's a lovely day again today. A little bit windy, but I'd love to do it all again. But today is not a bank holiday Monday. It's a regular Monday. I have to do my marking. So I'm just on the dog walk now, and I'm going to pop over to the plot and give you a bit of a tour and show you what I got up to yesterday when I didn't manage to film very much because I didn't have any charge on my phone. We had a little bit of rain last night, which isn't a bad thing for kind of bedding in the things that I planted, and continuing with the flooding up the plot, of course. Yeah, so we'll see how things have fared overnight, whether the slugs got my kales. So yeah, let's head down there now. Right, Dory, you weren't here yesterday, so let's take you on a tour of the plot. Okay, we'll start at the front and move towards the back. I suppose the first thing to say is I have strimmed. What do you think of the strimmed path, Dory? Yeah, super impressed. So yes, I didn't get very far in the strimming. Got along here, partly along there, and then conked out there. I was hoping it would recharge enough to carry on in the afternoon, but no. I earthed up my potatoes, which are looking pretty brilliant, I have to say. Happy with those. Oh, Dory, come on. She's pulling me back. So on this bed, I started my saskatoon hedge. So that's going all the way down. I showed you some of this yesterday. Anyway, let's see. Do they still look alive? They look as alive as they did yesterday, really. Yeah. So they go all the way along there. My thinking is if Mark puts his row of them down here, we'd have like a little Saskatoon tunnel coming through to our plots. Yeah? Okay, so that's that side. Saskatoons, Saskatoons, Saskatoons. And then over this way, I put the string around the posts for the raspberries. I'm not sure that's enough string, but this took me about a 5-minute job that took me about 45 minutes because this wire stuff, oh my goodness, what a pain. It gets all tangled. Yeah, but I did it. Put some comfreys in here and they look happy. They were pretty droopy when they first went in yesterday, but they look much better now. Yeah, Dory, look, a saskatoon. So that's the big one. I put in that damp patch next to the josterberry. Anything else went in there? Don't think so. Let's spin around. Partly strimmed path. Also, what do I do here? Reseed it with lawn seed? Or, as I was thinking, throw down some wildflower seeds and see what happens. Maybe. Desiree potatoes are just coming up. Oh, okay, Dory, you don't need to get on them. And then I put in 2 kales, just there, and they have survived the night. And next to the Desiree potatoes, Mark had a load of onions that he'd started in cells and had nowhere to put. So I've stuck some there and some in another patch. Some more comfrey went in over here. Yeah, Dory, another saskatoon. I know you're more interested in the rabbit poop. Another saskatoon, some more baby onions. I watered them and now they're not actually in the soil. Should probably do something about that. I did slightly pull up. So one of the problems with using straw is that it has seeds in and the grass or the barley or whatever it is pops up, but it isn't deeply rooted because it's just in the straw, so it's easy to pull out. So I did pull a bit of that out and then got bored. So some more over here. Now, no sign of these main crop potatoes yet. Oh, hang on, Dory. There's one Cara. There we go, just coming up. Okay, they're alive. Oh, and there's one over there. What's that one? A Valor. Okay, what else did we do, Dory? Oh yeah, we put in the strawberries, which I showed you at the time. Let's see if these... Oh, that one's still looking a bit droopy. That one's looking okay. I'm sure they will be fine. All this comfrey. The big thing I did was put the netting over the bed frame. No little birdies are trapped in it, so it's nice and taut enough. Taut enough. And then let's look at these kales. Any nibbling? I don't think there's any additional nibbling. There'd been a little bit of nibbling while they're in the cold frame at home. No, they're looking all right. Grow, my babies, grow. The final thing I did, which I did also show you yesterday, was make this seed bed. But I haven't put anything in it yet because I ran out of time. So what I'm thinking next is that I come down after work tonight with the now charged strimmer and carry on doing the grass paths. I mean, look at the front of the plot there. How much more nicer does that look than that part? Yeah, it does make a difference, doesn't it? So there we go. That's May on the plot. Not too shabby. I don't know where I expected to be in May in terms of the plot. But yeah, I think making good progress. Slow and steady wins the race, hey? What I do need to do is get some beans in, so I need to make this frame and put some chicken wire around it and string and stuff. But yeah, but I can't do anything now because I have to go and work. So my job getting in the way of my allotmenting. So yes, we'll leave it here for now. Thank you for spending that Sunday with me, sort of, when I had charge. Who knows what we'll be doing next week? Maybe sorting out that area at the back of the plot where it's completely overgrown. I'm not sure what the strimmer's going to make of that. Oh well, all to come. All good fun. Alright. Okay, have a good week. See you.